Hello, welcome, and thank you for watching this month's Tarot Talk. I'm intuitive reader Bryan Stafford from Stafford Tarot, and today's Tarot Talk topic is going to be about some of the frequently asked questions asked about tarot. Now, before I get into that Tarot Talk discussion topic, I'm just going to give some time for some viewers to join me on this broadcast by talking a little bit about what's new at Stafford Tarot and some of the upcoming events to look forward to. And then we'll get into that Tarot Talk topic. And then once we're done that discussion, we'll get into some short readings. I'm going to be offering 6 free short readings on this broadcast to anyone who shows interest in the chat during. So if you're watching this from my website and you're interested to see the sample readings, just feel free to skip ahead in the video about 20-30 minutes, as I will be offering those free readings later in the broadcast. So first, what's new? Well, I'm very excited. I'm always updating the website. If you follow me on the website, www.staffordtarot.com, you'll see everything that's new there, from the public events announcements that are of all the events that are coming up, some helpful tarot tips if you're learning to do this yourself, information about reading associations and self-learning exercises, as well as free video lessons for you to explore, to learn to do this yourself if that interests you. And there's also the Stafford Tarot blog, which has all sorts of helpful suggestions and tips on tarot readings. I have many free reading opportunities available on my website. At all the public events that are mentioned, I always offer free one-card impression pulls to anyone who approaches me at, like if it's a market or festival, you can approach the Stafford Tarot table. And if I'm between private readings, I will offer free one-card impression pulls to anyone. Also, the free draw happens monthly still. There's a 1 in 5 chance to win a free remote tarot reading over Zoom. That's a one-on-one interaction over Zoom. So that's a bit different than what I'm offering tonight. Tonight I'm offering distant remote readings, which isn't so interactive. Everything is sort of one way. People are only interacting with me through a chat instead of like a one-on-one video. And then twice a month, I also offer free moon oracle pulls available through my website, usually a day or two before each full moon and new moon of each month. So check that out. I've been told that some of the feedback that I've gotten back from some people, some visitors on my website, is that they're very helpful, very insightful. And then I also offer, as you are watching tonight, the free online Tarot Talk live events where I offer up to 6 free short readings. If you're interested to participate in some of the online workshops that are coming up, visit staffordtarot.com for those details. Some of those upcoming workshops, I'm really excited for my Spirit Talk online event. This is an online workshop. It's an introduction to mediumship workshop that's happening Saturday, November 9th, 2024. It's going to start around 8 p.m. Eastern time. And all the information is available on the website to get involved in that and how to participate. Then I also offer the Learn Tarot online workshop. This is an introductory course to learning to do tarot for yourself. This would be for people who need more of a one-on-one instruction, but don't want to spend the time memorizing the complicated meanings from a book. I offer a technique called the Path of Reading that we go through an exercise to learn that technique, and then we go through some readings during the workshop to demonstrate the technique that was just learned. And the technique allows you to do readings without having to memorize those complicated meanings from the book that comes with the deck. And tarot readings, if you follow this technique, they follow and are based on the original symbolisms that the tarot is based on. So they're about 90% accurate to the book. anyways. The book is just giving you the own interpretation of those symbolisms. So we go through that together. And then I also have group mediumship sessions. This is different from my workshop. The workshop is an introductory to mediumship where all the participants are learning to do mediumship. Whereas a group mediumship session with me is where I sit with a group to deliver messages to everyone, all the participants that are involved. So a little different. The group workshop or the group mediumship sessions are available remotely as well as in person for events, parties, and I've done them at corporate events. They have gone really well. There's been some great feedback on them. You can check it all out. All the information's available at staffordtarot.com. Some of the upcoming events, some of the public upcoming events that I'm really looking forward to. Of course, I have my monthly free draw on Monday, August 19th, 2024. Anyone who is unable to get into my list tonight for a free reading, you can always reach out still and I will add you to the draw. So you'll still have a chance to get a free reading opportunity. Full moon oracle pulls are coming up, leading up to the full moon happening on Monday, August 19th, 2024. Just watch my website. They just post online, and then I'll post that on my social media as well. I am involved this year in the fairy market in Fergus, Ontario. Really excited about this. It's going to be a spectacular outdoor event. It was really quite magical last year. Everyone's encouraged to dress up or to come and cosplay perhaps, and there are bubbles everywhere, and it's so mystical, and it was a really neat experience. I'm going to be there offering tarot readings on Saturday, August 24th, 2024. This event is hosted by Luna Events Canada. They are a great organizer for witchy markets. I suggest check out their website at lunaeventscanada.ca. I will also be hosting a Sacred Meadow Circle virtual gathering on Wednesday, August 28th, 2024. This is an online event that anyone can get involved with. It's a free event. You just have to register. The reason for the registration is just to avoid scammers or insincere entry into the gathering. So check that out. All the information is available. I'm also going to be at the Hamilton Pagan Pride Day on Sunday, September 8th, 2024. This is going to be a great event that's happening at Gage Park in Hamilton, Ontario. Check that out. The Stafford Tarot table is going to be set up in there to give readings as well as those free one-card impression pulls. And finally, that brings us to the next Tarot Talk Live event, which is going to happen on Tuesday, September 10th, 2024. It's going to start about 8 p.m. Eastern Time, similar to tonight. So check that out. That Tarot Talk topic discussion is going to be about ambush readings. What does it mean to be ambushed during a reading or to be ambushed by a reading or by a reader? We're going to talk about that next time on September 10th. But tonight's Tarot Talk topic is going to be about frequently asked questions about tarot. Now, I do want to mention, I should really mention the upcoming event that I'm really excited about as well is the Spirit Talk online workshop that I mentioned a little bit earlier. There is an early bird sale happening until September 30th, 2024, and then the price goes up on October 1st, and the actual event date is happening on Saturday, November 9th. 2024. It's going to have an 8 o'clock Eastern time start. So check that out. All the information, like I said, is available on my website, www.staffordtarot.com. So tonight's Tarot Talk discussion topic, frequently asked questions in tarot. These are some common questions that I've received when I've gotten involved online in social groups or social media or in online communities, or they've been submitted to my website, staffordtarot.com. And some of these questions are posted there in the frequently asked questions as well. but I'm going to cover them a little bit in this discussion. I have a list of questions that I'm just going to follow through and try and answer them in the best way that I can in the moment. So the first question on my list is, how does reading tarot work? This is an interesting question. It is a question that I do receive a lot. How does that work when I'm doing tarot readings? And the answer really is that there's a big misconception that tarot reading and tarot cards is about some sort of big mystical and magical experience, but it's actually very based on psychology, a very psychological experience where you are listening to the messages and associating them to your life. And by looking at that aspect of your life from that perspective, you gain insight and new perspectives. And that is where you gain the knowledge and guidance from tarot. Is tarot evil? Is my next question. And absolutely not. This question makes me laugh. I think a lot of people are scared of the unknown, and tarot seems like a very unknown, it seems very confusing to work with for people who don't understand how they work, perhaps, and that could create some fear, and then people think that it's related to evil. There are some misconceptions that are floating around that anything related to divination is evil, and tarot is one of the most common divination styles that there are. But no, it's actually, it's a guidance tool that helps you connect with your own inner self. There's nothing evil about that, is there? Is tarot unable to answer a question? Yes, tarot can have, I'm going to rephrase that. Readers can have difficulty interpreting the answer or the message that's being given. And that is more common than tarot not being able to answer. The only reason tarot wouldn't be able to answer a question, especially regarding the future, is if things aren't set yet, if there are decisions still to be made, if it's common for tarot to tell you how to get to your answer as opposed to just giving you the answer. And so if you misinterpret that, you may miss the answer, or you may miss part of the message that's given to you in the guidance of the cards. How are tarot helpful is my next question. I think I just answered that. They allow you to connect with your insight and allow you to see situations from different perspectives. They give you the approach to the future, or they give you more of an insight, a viewpoint of what the future may look like from this point of the reading, from the point of the reading itself. So that can be helpful, especially if you're planning for the future. You want to see sort of what things look like. And you could also use tarot as a guidance tool to say, well, if I did it this way, if I did it that way, and you can make changes. As I've mentioned, flipping cards during readings just for the insight that it could provide. Do phone Zoom readings really work? Yes, I wouldn't be here doing live events if they didn't. I do offer 6 free short readings during my live events because people find them insightful. And I like to offer opportunities for free readings because not everyone is able to get a free reading, or not everyone has experience to if you don't understand what they're like, or if you've never had a reading before, you may not want to necessarily invest money into learning about what it's about. So I do offer a lot of opportunity for people to get to know me, who I am, how I do readings. And so one of the ways that I started was doing it over Zoom, offering remote readings internationally. And when that got so busy, I then turned it into a draw. And when that got over busy, I then turned it into a business. Where was I on my list? Does tarot give a clear answer? Did I say this already? Unable to answer a question versus give a clear answer. I think it's a little bit of a different question. I'm going to try and tackle it. Does tarot give a clear answer? It's about receiving a clear answer. It's about how clearly you've interpreted the message that is received. Sometimes tarot is unable to give you a clear answer if you're unclear about where you're headed in this. It's really your own insight that guides the reading. However, tarot always has an answer for you. Even if the answer is unclear, it probably means that you need to go back and reinvestigate, or invest more into some self analyzation, or maybe some shadow work could be helpful. Anytime that tarot doesn't seem clear, I often will let what I mean, that doesn't happen often, but when it has happened, anytime it has happened, I have suggested to write down those details, and see if it becomes any clearer over the next few days that follow the reading. Because tarot usually does give helpful insight and perspectives to situations. Are readings kept private? Absolutely. Readings with me are definitely kept private. This is one reason why I don't announce the winners of the draw. I don't announce the names of the winners. I just get back to the winners through the same medium that they approached me. So if someone wrote to me on Facebook saying they'd like to get involved in the draw, or if they liked, commented, or shared on any social media that mentions the draw on Facebook, then I'm going to respond to them back through Facebook Messenger, letting them know privately that they've won the draw, and to arrange their date for their to receive their free remote reading. Um, if people come to me for readings, that's kept private. I suppose if people come to my public events, such as this Tarot Talk Live event, or if they approach me at some of my public events, it's going to be people are there or watching this are going to be aware that they received a reading, and that's their choice, I believe. I'm not pushing it on anyone to come to my live or watch or get involved. I just offer it out of courtesy, and in case people want the opportunity to learn what it's about. And so, yes, readings are usually kept very private with me. What kind of tarot deck do you use? If you watch previous Tarot Talk topics, you'll see that I've talked about many of my decks, and you can even go on my website and learn about some of the different decks that I use. But the most common deck is the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. That is the most commonly used tarot deck, and I use this deck. I was given this deck when I was very young, and I've had it for quite a long time. And so all the tarot decks that I have follow a Rider-Waite-Smith symbolism. So either the symbolisms that are in the Rider-Waite design, or some of the graphics are reused or regenerated using those symbolisms from Pamela Cole Smith influence. Let's see, where was I on my list? Can I do my own readings? Absolutely. You yourself can do your own readings. You just need to learn how to listen to and connect with your own intuition and be objective. Those are really the three key ways to learn: is to be objective, learn about your intuition and how to read the cards. Once you get there, you can do your own readings. Some tarot readers frown on that message that I like to deliver, the fact that people can do their own free readings. Because if you can do your own free readings, it means that you're not going to them for readings, or to me for readings, to get paid for readings. And for me, I think I have a fundamental belief that I think anyone can do these readings. And so I'm really just providing a service for anyone who doesn't want to learn to do it themselves. Anyone who wants to do it themselves are free to do it. And I offer all that information on my website if you're interested. What is a distant remote reading? That's sort of like what I explained, the difference between a remote reading versus a distant remote reading. So a remote reading is like one-on-one video call, where it's like a conversation that's almost real time, where I can ask questions, you can give answers, you ask questions, I give answers, and it's a back and forth interaction. Whereas the distant remote readings are often one way. So an example of a distant remote reading would be like tonight, when I offer 6 free short readings later in the broadcast. I'm just receiving a question and very basic information, and doing a detailed reading on that, and just providing those messages. And there's not a lot of room or interaction. There's not a lot of available feedback to give, unless they chat and type and type and type in the chat. Another example of a distant remote reading would be the distant recorded readings, the subscriptions that I offer, where you can order your reading with a question or comment, or if it's based on a specific event or special occasion, it would then be delivered on the date that you've provided with a recorded reading of the details that you've provided, whether it's, you know, a love reading between two people and you give the star signs and birth dates, or whether it's, you know, an upcoming event that you'd like a reading on, like a wedding or a graduation or an anniversary or birthday or something. There's many different reasons or options for those subscriptions, and those would be examples of distant remote readings as well. And why do your reading sessions take half the time of other tarot readers? They actually don't. Most tarot readers will charge an hourly rate. And I think where this person's coming from with this question is that I offer a full reading in a half an hour, and I also offer short readings within 15 minutes. Most tarot readers will offer longer readings than that. They'll take the full hour to do a full reading. And the reason for that is that I only charge for when the messages are being delivered. And I understand how long it takes me to get through certain spreads, certain layouts, and certain kinds of readings. And so I base my fee on that. My fee is based on the amount of time it takes me to read that kind of reading or that kind of spread. So for example, if someone orders or wants to book me for a 30-minute reading, we may spend 45 minutes to an hour going through that 30-minute reading. I'll spend there might be some time beforehand where that person had questions, maybe about me or my reading style or how I do readings. And then when I start the reading, that's when I'm charging for is the time that I'm doing the reading. If it takes me about a half an hour, and then there's time afterwards to ask questions, talk about the messages. Maybe you have more questions about either the reading or myself. I'm not reading the cards or new messages at that time. I've already done the spread. I've already laid out the cards and explained them, went through them within that half an hour, and then we took a little bit more time to talk about that. I don't charge for that extra time. It's just my own policy. It's the way that I work. So readings with me may go for 45 minutes to an hour, but depending on what readings you've requested or asked for is what I charge for. So somebody who's very talkative and likes to just communicate their challenges or talk about the issues at hand in their situation in the reading, I'm not charging for that. I am not a therapist. I'm not a counselor. So therefore, I don't feel proper charging for that. What I'm charging for is being the interpreter to the messages of the cards itself. I hope that makes sense. At any time, anyone can submit questions in the chat during. I have trouble telling how many people are viewing me while I'm doing the broadcast. So at any time, just write, hey, or let me know you're there. Hi, Mel, thanks for joining. I see your message there. At any time, anyone's interested in receiving one of those free short readings, just write interested in the chat, and I will definitely help out by getting started in those readings. If anyone has any questions, of course, you can put them in the chat, as well as I have all this information available on my website, staffordtarot.com. So if anyone's interested in receiving a free reading tonight, I think I'm just going to get started tonight with a short reading for myself, just to give an example of the type of readings that I offer. And then I'll be watching the chat. If anyone's interested and wants to receive a free reading tonight, just write interested in the chat and I will add you to my list. Now, I should mention that it has happened in the past during these live broadcasts that there was about a 30 second delay in the chat. So by the time someone wrote their messages, it took about 30 seconds for me to actually see the messages. So just try to have patience with me while we work with the technology that is at hand here. So I'm just going to start my readings. I always start my readings with a one-card impression pull. And so I'm just going to do this for myself. This is an impression on where my energy is in the moment. And my energy is in the Tower card, reversed. The Tower card, which often looks like this, for me, the way that the symbolisms are standing out, represents a complete destructive change that's necessary. When it's reversed like this, it means avoiding some destructive change. This is definitely within my energy, that I can relate with this message, just being that I've been making all sorts of decisions in terms of my profession, in terms of um, my coven, in terms of my occupation. All these changes are happening all at once, and they need to be completed by the end of the summer. And so I'm running out of time, but I'm getting caught up on some things. And that's where this is resonating with me, that I'm avoiding this destructive change by getting to these things. I have a feeling that if I don't complete these tasks by the end of the summer, I'm going to be looking at this destructive change. I really need to focus. I think I'm on the right track with this card coming up. So what I normally offer during a short remote reading is a 3-card pull from this deck that allows me to just get a sense of the question or topic that's on the table. I'm leaving it general, given that I've avoided this destructive change that would have been required. I am just going to leave it general and see what messages I need to receive tonight. Normally, it can either be left general, or you can set it to a specific topic or question that I can focus on for the reading itself. And if anyone's interested to receive a free reading for yourself, just write interested in the chat. And hopefully I'm receiving the messages. Usually there's more responses by this point in the live, but also it's happened in the past where one time I wasn't receiving any messages, and then after I did the whole live, I went back and reviewed the video and realized, oh my gosh, people were sending messages and I wasn't receiving them. So it was really unfortunate. I wasn't able to provide a lot of insight or a lot of the opportunities during that live. Oh, good. Thank you, Elizabeth, for letting me know you're there and requesting that free reading. Definitely. I'll start with you next. I'm just going to add you to my list. And anyone else who's interested in to receive a free reading, just let me know and I will add you to the list as we go through the night. Thank you so much. So the cards that came out for my short general reading here, I have 3 different suits, and I'm going to talk about that. 2 of them are reversed and one's not, and I think that's significant. I feel like the 2 reversed ones are talking together, and so I'm going to talk about that, but go into read them individually first. This is the Page of Rods reversed. It's telling me that normally the Page of Rods looks like this, and it's about choosing the right action to go into the right direction. When it's reversed, it's like no need to choose. And I think that's exactly right. I think my path is actually being chosen for me in a lot of ways. And the next card beside that is the 8 of Swords reversed. Now, the 8 of Swords reversed is often about not being held back, not being stuck, not having these heavy thoughts holding you back. These heavy thoughts were holding me back. It looked like this. I had this big task of things I needed to do, and I was overwhelmed by the amount of thought and that I had to give this and the amount of work that it was needed, and just like the heavy thoughts were just really overwhelming me. And now it's reversed, meaning that I can now put that behind me, that I've worked through these swords, some of these heavy thoughts. With both of these cards being reversed and talking together, I really think that I've avoided something, that these heavy thoughts are no longer holding me back, and I don't have to know, I'm no longer stuck to know or have to decide. I don't need to decide the action. Welcome back, Mel. I see your message there. Just let me know if you'd like a free reading and I can add you to the list to receive one. Right now I just have Elizabeth and then some free spaces. So the next card is the Ace of Cups. Now, this is about realizing a new way to feel. Cups in tarot represent emotion, and aces are like when it comes out of nowhere. And so realizing this new way to feel, yes, I'm no longer overwhelmed. I'm getting on top of things. I'm completing these tasks, and I can feel good about this now. Whereas before, I wasn't feeling good about this. I was overwhelmed. I was feeling stuck. I was feeling like I was really kind of pushing to get the stuff done. And now I can change the way I feel. I can feel relieved. I'm feeling quite proud that I've gotten through all that. And so I can resonate with these messages. Now, Elizabeth, I do see your message there mentioning Lindsay, but I don't see any messages from Lindsay. I hope that I am receiving all the messages. Is that what you're meaning by saying that? Am I missing some of the messages? Oh, I hope not. Let me know. Let me know your feedback. Hopefully I can, uh, I'm seeing. Oh, okay, cool. Thank you for clearing that. I thought maybe I was missing something. Hi, Cynthia. Thanks for joining. And anyone else who's joined me, I notice I have more viewers, so feel free to, if you want to get involved in these free readings, just write interested in the chat and I will add you to the list. I have 5 spots still available. I'm going to get started with the first short reading for Elizabeth. Oh, I see your messages there, Elizabeth. Thank you so much. I hope that if they were planning on coming, that they're able to join. Anyone who would like to be notified of the live, when it goes live, you can simply, I do put an event on my Facebook that people can say they're interested in or that they're going. And if you write that you're going, you'll get notified as soon as I go live to be one of the first people here. And then you won't miss the Tarot Talk discussion that happens first. Hi, David. Thanks so much. I will definitely add you to the list. You are second in my list. And welcome. I'm also from Canada. Ontario here, Guelph, Ontario myself. And I'm just seeing some of the messages there. Great. So Elizabeth, thank you so much. I will leave it general. I'm going to start with my 1 card impression pull. Now, this 1 card is just 1 card that tells me where you're sitting energetically in the moment. This is for Elizabeth. And for you, I get the 2 of Pentacles reversed. Elizabeth, for this card, when it's reversed, it often represents no longer having to balance these 2 aspects of your life. Quite often, these are aspects of your life based on needs, things that you need for yourself. And so, for example, like health and finances, or 2 aspects of finances, like 2 jobs, or home finances and work finances, or like two different aspects of your life that you've been juggling. And it's basically saying that you no longer have to juggle it. If it was like this, you'd be in this juggle. You'd be juggling these 2 aspects of your life. When it's like this, it means that you can, like, either this has happened and you've done well and you've come to a balance, or you haven't had to pick this up. Some other aspect of your life came about and you were like, I'm not balancing that. Either way, I think whichever you resonate with, it means that you've been able to not have to balance this, that you can put it sort of behind you in some way. So I'm going to focus on that general question. I'm going to pull 3 cards from this deck. Hi, Mel. Thanks for your question. Do you do messages? Can you clarify that, Mel? Do you mean like messages from like inner self, like intuitive messages, or do you mean like messages from spirit, or like what kinds of messages are you referring to? Thank you, Elizabeth, for explaining that resonates, that message resonates. So I'm just focusing on your energy, Elizabeth, and charging the cards with that intention. And I feel intuitively that we're ready here. So the 3 cards that have come out are interesting. It's 2 suits bookending a higher arcana. Your higher arcana card is usually the more important message or the theme of the reading itself. I'm going to work my way there. The 2 cups that are working my way there, or sorry, the 2 suit cards that are working my way there are cups. Gave that one away. They're cups, and they're both reversed. And I'm going to talk about that because your higher arcana card is not reversed. Okay. The first card I'm going to talk about is the Queen of Cups reverse. This means that, Elizabeth, you're having trouble sitting in some sort of throne of the Queen of Cups. The queens are often the queens are often decision makers, and cups are emotion. So when we get a Queen of Cups, it's emotional decisions that are being made. When it's like this, you're sitting in the Queen's throne making these emotional decisions. When it's reversed, it means that either you're not sitting in this throne, or there's something preventing you from sitting in this throne to make these emotional decisions. And when you figure out what that is, or you solve what's stopping you or holding you back, this card's going to then flip around and you'll be making those emotional decisions. But in the meantime, it looks like this. There's also this sense of loss that you can now put behind you. This is often a healing card when it comes out like this. It's the Five of Cups. You can see in the symbolism, there's a person here that has some cups as emotions, and these ones are spilled. And it's about reviewing the loss, reflecting on what has been lost, or how to move forward with what you have. When it's reversed like this, it means that you're no longer doing that. Again, you can put this loss behind you, or it's about healing from a loss. Usually when these two cards are together like this, there could be something from this loss in this healing that's going to allow you to then move forward with these decisions, okay? What I really want you to focus on, though, Elizabeth, is the Higher Arcana card. This is the Strength card. Now, the Strength card doesn't appear on the table for someone who doesn't have that inner strength. So just know that you are strong in this, you are capable and determined, and that this is about inner strength, not physical strength. You can see here, based on the card, this person, the character on the card, does not have the lion in some gripply headlock. She's using her inner strength to tame the lion. And that's what that card's really about, that you have this strength to you. So I really think that with this kind of strength, you can probably be confident. Perhaps you don't need to make these decisions right now, or perhaps you need to solve something first before you can move forward. I hope that that makes sense. I'm going to expand further into another deck. Excuse me. Given that there's a lot of cups and that this shows the strength, I'm wondering if it would be helpful to look at this from my heart chakra deck. I use this deck quite a lot, actually, because it gives great insight in terms of what we need for ourselves. And quite often that can be helpful when we know what we need for ourselves in a particular situation. I'm just reading the message that popped up here. Okay, thank you for that, that confirmation there, Elizabeth, in regards to the Strength card. So I'm just focusing on what you need for yourself in terms of this reading, and move forward. And this is messages for Elizabeth. If anyone else is interested to receive a free reading, just let me know in the chat. So far, I'm doing Elizabeth, and then I have David next, and I have spots available. If you didn't hear your name and you've asked for a reading, just let me know and I will add you to the list. Hopefully I'm seeing all the messages that have come up. Here we go. Now, 2 higher arcanas here and a suit. I'm going to start with the suit and work my way to the higher arcanas, even though one's reversed and one's not. And I feel like they're in a little bit of conflict, but I'm going to start with the suit first. This is the 4 of fire in this tarot structure. 4 in numerology is often about grounding, finding grounding and structure for ourselves. And fire is like similar to a wand in tarot. It's the action suit of this structured deck. And when it's not reversed, it's usually about opening up, releasing something within in order to find grounding or structure for yourself. When it's reversed like this, it can often mean that you need to go inverted or introverted, or you need to go within. This could be a process that's happening internally for you as opposed to needing to get something out. I think you need to process what's happening from within, if that makes sense. Now, the next two cards are interesting. Like I said, they're both higher arcana. One's reversed, one's not. I'm going to talk about them both, actually. They're both speaking to me. One's the move card reversed, and the other one is, let me hold it right here, the trust card not reversed. Now, when the move card is reversed, it's often saying, that you don't want to make a move. You don't want to be too hasty. You don't want to move too fast. You want to take your time. You want to go through the process that you need to. And that makes sense being beside this card, given that you want to sort out what's happening inside. This is basically saying take your time. No need to rush. You don't need to feel like you have to make a move. If it was this way, if it was this way, it would be like the opposite of that. It would be like, make a move. There's an opportunity there. You might miss that opportunity, or, so just keep that in mind. This card is often about something that we love, or something that's close to us or dear to our heart. It doesn't always have to be a relationship, even though that's what the card is sort of depicting, but it's usually something that we love. I've seen this card come up a lot for like someone just loved a hobby, and they, in order to do it, they had to make a move. But when it's reversed, it's often saying take your time, don't rush through this. There's a process, okay? And then the trust card, which did not come out reversed. And the trust card is often about trusting ourselves. The zero card in most tarot structures in the higher arcana are usually the sitter of the reading itself. It's the traveler going through the path. It's often shown as the Fool card in tarot structures. In this deck, it's the trust card, because you need to trust yourself to take that journey. And that's what it's saying when it's not reversed. It's about self-trust, trusting yourself. I think you can trust yourself to make these internal processes happen in your best interest. And I think that's what this is saying. You have a lot of strength in this. There's a lot of emotions to work out, but I think you have what it takes. I think I also want to point out that I see pentacles, I see wands, I see cups. I'm not seeing swords. And Elizabeth, I think it's just as important sometimes to look at what doesn't show up as the table as what does, because you needed messages tonight in regards to the needs and finding a balance in those needs. Taking action for yourself, going internal in terms of what direction to go with this, and working out the emotions. But you didn't need messages in terms of the intellectual processes that are involved. And so I think you've got the right mindset. I think you're thinking about this the right way, and that's why you're not needing sword messages, I think, or sword related messages. I think you have got yourself in the right mindset. You just have to work out the emotions. And the way that you do that is by taking action and finding balance in your needs. I hope that that's helpful, Elizabeth. Let me know if that makes sense. I'm going to start to put the cards away and cleanse them. And then I'm going to move on to David. David, if you are ready and on the call, let me know. And if you have a specific topic or question you'd like me to focus on. Oh, thank you, Elizabeth, for that message, letting me know that it was very helpful. I really appreciate knowing that. Thank you. You're very welcome. So, Alex, I've added you to the list as well. Whoops. None of them came face up, so I can't read them. I also did a previous tarot talk topic about jumper cards. If you're interested, look back at a previous tarot talk regarding jumper cards. Jumper cards is when the cards just fall out of the deck and you feel impulsed to read them. Make sure I got them all. Yes, I did. They fell right out of the deck. So David, if you're there, let me know. And after David, I will move to Alex. And then anyone else who's interested to receive a reading tonight, just let me know and I will add you to the list. David, you may have inserted your message already, and I'm just waiting to see it on my end, so I apologize if that's the case. Oh, there's your message. Hello, David. Career and love, if anything comes through. Not general is good. Okay, so I'm going to focus on which do you think, career or love? I can focus on one of those topics. I think it might be hard to interpret if we get too complicated in what we ask from the tarot deck. I can leave it general and see what messages come up and where you associate with either career or love is where you might gain insight and perspective. But if you want to narrow in and choose either career or love, let me know, David. If there's one more than the other that you'd like to ask about or get insight on, then I'll focus on that specifically. I'm going to start with a 1-card impression pull from this deck, just letting me know where you're sitting energetically in the moment before I focus on that question or topic. So if I don't receive you, whether you want career or love, I'll just do like general both, and we'll see what came up what comes up most. Quite often when readings are left general, it's the messages that you need to hear that come out general. Absolutely. Okay, I can do that. So David, for you, I get the Hierophant card. This is a higher arcana card, so it's a more important message out of the tarot messages that are available. And the Hierophant card is often about finding and following a structured approach to something. So this would be an approach that's expected of you, the right way of doing things versus the wrong way of doing things. If the card came out this way, it would be about doing it your own way and not following that systematic approach. So just know that there's an expectation on you in this, or there's a right way to do this. There's a systematic approach that you feel like you may be needing to take. Does that make sense for you? Can you resonate with that? Now I'm going to focus on the general reading. I'm going to pull three cards from this deck, and we're just going to look at how those cards speak to each other to get that message. I am going to try and focus this on either career or love, and based on the messages that are received, you'll need to decide which topic is on the table. Okay? Let me know if that doesn't make sense. I see a lot of action, 2 wands and a cup reversed. The 2 wands are not reversed, and so what this tells me is that it's not so much about the emotion as it's about the action. I'm going to let you decide whether this is about career or about love, okay? The first card is the 3 of Wands. 3 in numerology is about communicating. This is about communicating with yourself, the way the card's really coming across. And it's about choosing the action that you need to take to move forward, communicating those choices with yourself to make the right decision. You can see here in the card itself, the person has 3 wands to choose from. They've chosen one. They have another one put in front of them as an option, and they've placed one behind them like that's not even an option anymore. So it's really about making the right choice for you in terms of the actions that go next. This is about choosing the right action for you. Okay, David? The next card is the 9 of Wands. It did not come out reversed as well. I feel like these 2 cards are speaking sort of side by side in terms of having to make the choice and holding your own. The choice that we're talking about is going to be different than all the other actions that are around you, and it's about holding your own, continuing with that action, reaching the goal no matter how different your actions are from everyone else. Now, this is the 6 of Cups reversed, and it's the next card that I need to focus on. And often when the card looks like this, it can represent our memories, the things that we've been through that are either related or similar or a memory of. And when it's reversed, it often means that we're not connecting with those memories. There either might be something in your past in regards to this on how you feel that could help you get through this, but you may not be connecting with it. Or there's no need to go back in through those memories. I do get a sense that it's more the first meaning, because what's standing out for me is the interaction between the two characters. There is a cup of these flowers. Each cup is filled with flowers, and one of the cups is being passed between them. And so that's really standing out for me, even though it's reversed. And so I really feel like there's something from your past that you could hone in on or tune into, that might help you move forward. This is going to be an emotional memory, because it is about cups. And so you're really looking for possibly an emotional connection with these actions that you're having to decide between. Does this make sense for you? Now, when I bring this to where you're at now, David, with if this is what's on your mind, there's this systematic approach to move forward. It makes sense to me why you, if you have to take that systematic approach with those expectations, why you'd want to choose wisely the actions that you need to take, and how your actions may be different from the other people around you. You can see here that it's almost like he's being supported like a parade. So it's like a lineup. So these are people that are doing the same process, but you might be doing it your own way, or holding your own in that same process. I'm wondering how I can extend on this further. Before I do, David, do you have, can you resonate with these messages? Do you understand which area or topic is on the table here in terms of these messages of action and emotion? I'd like to extend further, given that there is a lot of action and interaction that seems to be going on. This is my Zen deck, and I use this deck quite often in readings as well, because it gives a great sense of the interaction of energies that's going on. And so if I focus on that in this reading moving forward, it may give us some great insight in terms of what this interaction is, especially if it's related to either love or career. For me, I'm not sure which it could be narrowing in on, which is what I think you need to just use your reasoning and what resonates most with you, David. But there is a sense that it is about sort of a relationship, and I'm trying to narrow in with all the actions that are needed, whether it's a personal relationship or a work relationship. But I'll let you decide. Oh, thank you for that feedback, that it does resonate. So I'm going to continue. Now, the three cards that have come out are interesting. They are all suits. Two of them are court cards, and I feel like the court cards are speaking together, even though they give different messages. So I'm going to start in the center suit. This is the 10 of air. 10 in numerology is often about a repetitive cycle. You know, when we reach a goal and we start back at the beginning again, when you count up to 10, you count up to 9, which is the goal. And then when you reach 10, it's like being at 0 again, and you go up through 11, 12, 13. It's like counting from 1 to 10 again. So it's really about like a repetitive cycle, or a restart in some way. And the card is expressing that as a rebirth. And you can see here, based on the card, that it's really about understanding yourself, understanding your own power and what you can do, doing the internal work, understanding the maybe the representative of the animal that you might see yourself in the card. There's this really interesting feeling that I get from the card, that the feeling that I get from it's almost like coming out of a shell, being released from something, or holding yourself back and no longer holding yourself back. And you can see here that there's like a flute player coming from the lion. So it's almost like there's this side of you that's very tame, very creative. I think that's part what you want to focus on, is that creative side. I think that's a challenge, and that's what's sort of maybe being held back a little bit. This seems frustrating, this feeling that comes from this card. Now, the two suit cards that I want to talk about are interesting as well. This is sort of um, a knight of fire, and it's looked at as the playfulness card. It's about taking action on action. It's about knights are often the action takers. And in this deck, when we're creating a balance between interaction of energies, it can often mean about having passion or being more playful. It can often mean about taking a serious situation and making it more sort of like an adventure, enjoying the ride kind of thing. Even though this card is kind of saying to slow down, make sure you know your options before you decide, take the time to observe before you enact. This is often a page, and the page of Earth often represents making sure that you're deciding on your needs and what you need for yourself. What is the best approach to move forward? It uses a depiction of a turtle on land trying to get to the water. That's a very dangerous route for a turtle. There's a lot of predators and they can't move fast in the water, very slow moving land bearing creatures. So there's a lot of risk involved in that, knowing the right time, when to make your move, sitting back and observing all the details to make sure that you have all the information that you need. That's what this card often represents. These two cards side by side feel like they should be in conflict, but um, I'm not sure if they are. If you're taking the time to move forward in the right direction that you need, you want to do this in a way that's enjoyed by you, that in a playful way. You don't want to be doing this in a non-playful way. So I think this is what this is really saying is if you want to move forward, you have to sort of enjoy what you're doing. Um, I don't think this card is representing changing yourself, even though it's a rebirth card. The message that's coming out of this card is more about being yourself, tuning into who you really are, even though you may appear different. Or maybe that's a different impression that's been given off. I'd like to extend just one more time further. Um, I feel like what the cards are really describing more is what you're going through in the moment and less about the insight that's needed. So I'm going to just ask my Witch's Wisdom deck to bring a message from the depths. I'm asking this deck to give me a message that's going to be helpful. What is it that you need to hear from deep within yourself regarding this situation? This is the 8 of Fire in this tarot deck. A popular expression that goes well with this card would be wake up and smell the coffee. um, if you see, it depends on how you see this card. For me, it's coming across like a sunrise, and these monkeys have lined up, getting ready to watch the sunrise. And when it comes across like that, it's about like waking up, seeing what's in front of you, understanding how to plan your day. That kind of goes hand in hand with this slow down but be playful and rebirth, like redesign your day, make it yours. And that's what's coming across for me. If this card comes across as a sunset for you, if your first impression is a sunset, I think you're planning more for the future instead of the day. So reflecting more on what you've been through, reflecting on what you've seen throughout that day, and that the day's coming to an end and you get to that reflection piece. I'll let you decide how this card comes across for you, whether it comes across as a sunrise or a sunset. For me, intuitively, I feel like it's a bit of a sunrise, where it's more like there's a message that needs to be revealed, or if you just open your eyes a little wider, or a little open them a little more, you'll get more of a view. See the light, look towards what's being revealed. That's kind of what's being said to me. I think there could be some strength in this that you need to realize within yourself, given the way that these cards have lined up. I also want to point out that fire is like a wand in tarot, and so you have wands for fire, you have pentacles for needs, and you have air for thought, but there's no and cups. So what I'm really noticing is the amount of elements that are on the table. I see every suit, and that often tells me that this is a struggle for someone, and that whatever's on the table is invading all areas of your life. So different aspects of your life are starting to become affected by whatever this topic is. And when I bring this right back to where you're sitting now, David, I just want to reiterate that you feel like you need to just do the right thing or take the right structured approach. And I think that might help you move forward in this. I do hope that this reading was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. Otherwise, I'll start charging and putting away the cards, and then I'll move on to Alex. Alex, if you're there next, let me know. Eve, I did add you to the list. So next I'm giving a reading to Alex and then Eve. And if anyone else is on and would like to receive a reading. Oh, Leela, I just saw your message there. Leela, you can be after Eve. Now, each reading takes about 15 minutes to get through. So just keep that in mind that if you are 3 names away, such as Leela, you have about a half an hour wait before your reading will come up. Oh, you're very welcome, David. Hi, Alex. Thanks for letting me know you're there. I'll definitely do a general reading for you. Okay, I'm just connecting with your energy and charging the cards with that intention. I'm just looking for a 1-card impression pull with this deck before I get started on that general reading. The card that I get for you is the Knight of Wands reversed. What this often represents is not being able to take action in terms of the actions that are needed. This is often action upon action. Wands are a fire element, which represent actions that need to be taken, and knights are the action takers in the court structure of tarot. When you think about the court structure, you have a king and queen, and they're the decision makers, and then you have the messengers, which are the pages, and they get the decisions messages to the action takers, and that is the knights. The knights are the action takers. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. So when you have a Knight of Wands, action upon action, this is usually like aggressive action or really important action to take. When it's reversed like this, Alex, it means that you're unable to take that action for some reason. There's something stopping you or getting in the way. And as soon as you resolve that conflict, this is going to flip around and you're going to be able to take that action. But until then, it looks like this. Now, there is this other sense that I'm getting intuitively. Notice how his feet are off the ground. I feel like there's an ungroundedness in this that comes along with this. Let me know if that makes sense to you, okay, Alex? I'm going to move forward into your general reading. I think once you're able to solve the conflict or the dilemma that you're up against, that's causing you not to be able to take that action, that is also going to like propel you and ground you. Okay, thank you for that confirmation, Alex, that it does make sense. Okay, the 3 cards are really interesting. We have a wand and 2 swords. I'm just going to go in the order that they came out. I'm just drawn to the cards in that direction. This is the 6 of Wands, and it often represents reflecting on what you've been through and deciding what intellectual processes, what ideas from that you take with you that are going to serve you and what you leave behind. The imagery on the card shows these people who are escaping a situation, and they've taken some swords in the boat with them. They had to decide what swords they take with them and what they leave. If you look at this card in more of a Rider-Waite-Smith tarot structure, the Rider-Waite-Smith deck imagery shows that they're actually leaving a village that's on fire. And so it shows them escaping some sort of situation. And you can see them here on their escape. um, 6 in numerology is often about how we interact with others. And so these are heavy thoughts about the people that you're taking with you, or the sacrifices that you may have made moving forward. And swords are often about heavy thoughts and intellect. When we have heavy thoughts and intellect about the people around us, that's where it's bringing me to this almost like a sacrifice that's been made, and you're having to move forward from that. Now, sorry, I'm going to go in the order. The middle card is the 5 of Wands, and it represents a choice. 5 in numerology is often a halfway point. It's like if you count from 1 to 10, when you get to 5, it's just as much energy and effort to continue getting to the goal as it is turning around and going back to the beginning. So there's usually a choice that's needing to be made, and the choice is the actions that you need to take moving forward. And that's where you can see your actions up against everyone else's actions, and it almost feels like a deadlock in some way. I'm wondering if this is what maybe stopping you from moving forward with these actions in the first place, when it comes to the energy that you're in now compared to the question on the table, or the topic on the table. Now this leads us to the 9 of Swords reversed. It looks like this. And what this card often represents when it's reversed is working through these heavy thoughts that are binding you down. If the card was this way, these heavy thoughts, you'd be going through these intellectual processes that are holding you back, binding your hands and stopping you. When it's reversed, it means that you're going through these heavy thoughts. The more swords that you relieve, the more heavy thoughts that you go through, the less you're going to be tied down until you can break free from these binds. So I see a process happening here. I see you working through these heavy thoughts that you need to take with you, what serves you and what doesn't, and having to hold your own against these actions and choosing what is the best action for you. And the more you sort out these heavy thoughts, the more free you're going to be to move forward. So just make sure that you're actually working through those heavy thoughts. With these kinds of messages on the table, these are the kinds of things that come back and bite us when we don't acknowledge them or we don't work them out. So just make sure that you're going through that process. Now I'd like to extend on this further with another deck. I'm wondering what direction to go in. Given that in your energy in the moment, it's like unable to move forward or unable to take the action that you need to. And then there's this intellectual process that needs to be done first. I'm going to look at this from my pagan deck. I think it would be helpful to look at this from a balancing perspective, given that there's these actions and intellectual thoughts. I'm going to ask this deck to show us the balance of aspects that are being created. This deck uses imagery depicting a balance between like ritual life and modern life. And I'm going to try and use the imagery or the symbolisms of that to answer the question in regards to this balance that may need to be created in terms of the way you're thinking about this compared to the actions that are needed. I feel like this is ready already. So what's really interesting about this is you got, again, the 6 of Swords. And in this tarot structure, it shows the blazing village that they're walking away from. This is the same card that came out here, just with a different imagery showing the same messages. It's like escaping and deciding what you take with you and what you don't as you escape this disaster situation. No coincidence that this has come up. I think this is part of the balance that you need. And so I would take this as confirmation, Alex, that you're probably doing the right thing by working through these heavy thoughts and deciding what you take with you and what you don't. That's what's needed to create the balance, because that's what I asked these cards. The next one is the Elder of Pentacles. I think when it comes to your needs, you know exactly what you need, and that's why you've come across as the Elder of Pentacles. You are the elder in this. You have the experience, the knowledge, and the know-how in terms of what you need for yourself, because pentacles are often about needs in terms of health or finances. And so I feel like you can make these decisions in terms of what serves you and what doesn't. And then the next one is the Seven of Wands. Seven in numerology is often about finding spiritual development in ourselves or finding personal growth. And wands are the actions that need to be taken. It shows the depiction of a person getting assistance in terms of like learning about something. Perhaps they're learning about finances. You can see a calculator there and some paper and pen, and they seem to be working it out with their wand. They're wearing ritual clothes, and the person that's helping them is wearing modern clothes. And so this is like looking at it from a different aspect or a different perspective. And it's really about spiritual growth and development. It's about your own growth and development. It's more about you knowing where you sit in compared to how other people are looking at it. I think that goes hand in hand with the Elder of Pentacles being side by side, that this is really about you and what you need, and you just need to follow your heart. I'm going to look to my heart chakra deck just for one quick card pull in terms of what you need for yourself. I'm asking that because of the messages that were received in the last row of cards. I just want to confirm the balance and where this is going to lead you. Oh, these cards really have a way they want to go. And we have the Four of Emotion, the Four of Water. This is joy and stability. It is not reversed. And so I really think that if you can create this balance, it's going to lead to such stability and joy for you, Alex. It's just a matter of going through the process and working through those heavy thoughts that need to be sorted out, what you need for yourself, and determining, what is for your own growth and development and best interest. I do hope that this is helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm just going to start putting the cards away and decharging them, and then I'm going to move on to Eve. Eve, if you're available, let me know. And I have one spot still available if anyone's interested on the call to receive a free reading if you haven't yet. I'm just going to decharge and put away and thank the decks for their assistance. Oh, thank you for that confirmation, Alex. You're very welcome. I'm glad that things are sorting out for you, that you're sorting things out. I just feel like I should clear the deck from here too. Okay. That feels good. So, Eve, thank you so much for letting me know you're there. I'm going to start with a one-card impression pull from this deck, and that's just going to tell me where you're sitting energetically in the moment. And then I'll move to this deck here, my my Morgan Greer deck. This is Rider Wyatt. This is Morgan Greer. My Morgan Greer deck, where I will focus on a topic or question, or if you'd like me to leave it general, just let me know. If you have a specific topic or question, just let me know what that topic or question is, and that's what I'll focus on when I get to that deck. Now, for you, Eve, I get the Temperance card in where you're sitting energetically in the moment. Now, the Temperance card is often about finding balance between different emotions. That's what's standing out for me in the way that they're sort of balancing the water between the cups. What's also standing out for me is almost like there's a sunset in the background, and that's come across differently before. Almost like a sunrise, actually. But it used to come across in the past as like a little volcano in the background, or like some sort of flash of light, or you see the sun in the back. But this is coming across like almost like a sunrise. Or and I think what this is really saying is almost like an opening to emotion. creating that balance for yourself. I think you're discovering something about yourself. There could be some sort of light, an awakening, perhaps. But it definitely feels like that. The symbol on the forehead of the main character is really standing out for me as being a sun symbol, and that doesn't normally stand out for me in the card as well. And sun is very healing, very empowering, and so I see this as being like a balance of emotion that's going to bring you to a good place. Let me know if you can resonate with that or if that makes sense to you, Eve. I'm going to just focus on if you have a topic or question. I haven't seen it yet, or if you'd like just a general message. I'm just going to make sure I haven't missed any messages from you. Oh, this is all jumping around. Makes it hard for me to see. Oh, stop jumping. A general reading. Okay, I looked back at your messages and saw that there was a general reading. Oh, thank you, Eve. I just received your new message. This really resonates with me. I'm currently learning how to balance emotions. So exactly, that's exactly what the Temperance card is about. It's just really working through the different emotions that are involved in balancing it. And again, I feel like this balancing for you and what's standing out for me in the card is going to bring an awakening or an enlightenment of some kind. So I saw in your previous messages that you asked for a general message or general reading, and so I'm just going to focus on that for you as we move forward. Now, 3 suits have come out, 2 wands and cups. I feel like the 2 wands are speaking together. I'm going to start there and work my way to this cup. This is the king and queen of rods together. Now, when the king and queen both come out together with the same suit and they're speaking together side by side in the ways that they are tonight, it gives me a reflection of these heavy, very important decisions that need to be made and responsibility that you must have on your shoulders. This is the type of decisions in terms of the actions that you need to take because they're both wands. But because the king and the queen are both speaking together side by side with the same suit, I feel like this is really important decisions in terms of the actions that you need to take. And these are decisions that are nurturing and caring that affect other people around you, and they come with a consequence or sacrifice that's involved. And these are stern, harsh decisions, but yet you have to consider everything that's involved. This can be a really hard place to be in. There's so much involved that you have to consider that the decision itself may be overwhelming. Now, just know, Eve, that I think you have what it takes to make this decision because both the king and the queen are coming across as confident to me. And the way that they're sitting side by side, the way that they're speaking together, it's almost like they're working together to make this decision. So I feel like you're going to make the best decision that you can. And the next card is really telling in terms of what this could be about because it's the 5 of Cups. As I mentioned this card earlier tonight, this card is often about reflecting on the loss that's involved. You can see here the person is pondering the cups that have been spilled. 5 in numerology is about making a choice. It's usually about finding our path, determining do we continue on to the goal or do we return back to the beginning? And there's just as much effort in doing that. So it's about making a choice. Determined to reach your goal or do you start from scratch? And there's some loss involved in that. I think what this is really saying is that you're working through the loss because you have this confident king and queen sitting in your corner. I'm wondering how I can extend on this further. First of all, Eve, can you resonate with these 3 cards that have come out? Do you understand what this is referring to? Given that there's this loss involved, I'm going to go back to my heart chakra deck. Given that The heart chakra deck gives great perspectives on what we need for ourselves. And these are really difficult decisions to be made. Okay, that would make sense to me. I think you need to make some decisions for yourself in terms of that loss. And I'm going to look at this next part of the reading from that perspective. What do you need for yourself moving forward, Eve? So I feel drawn to going through the cards in this direction. So I'm just going to follow that intuitive sense. This is the one of water. It's the new vitality card, and it's reversed. When the card comes out like this, one in numerology is about individual spiritual development, like our own independent development. And the emotion is about the water is about emotion. And so when we have like emotional realization of ourselves, it can be about a new vitalization or a new vitality in terms of how we view ourselves. This can be often about like making changes. When it's reversed like this, it's really suggesting that this is already there and that you just need to realize it. You don't need to make changes. This is not a new vitality. This is a vitality that already exists, and you just need to realize and recognize it, okay? This is the third higher arcana card in this tarot deck structure, and it represents nurturing yourself. Now, when it's reversed like this, it often represents that somebody who puts other people before themselves. You may not tend to nurture yourself, you nurture other people before yourself. And I think that's what this card is representing. I think you do nurture yourself. I think you have given yourself a bit of attention lately, that you have nurtured some of what you're going through. And so now it's like you've been there, done that, you understand it. And so I think you're ready to move forward with some of this, what you're going through. And that brings us to the strengthening bonds card. This is the first of the fire in this tarot structure, and it represents taking action based on what you need for yourself. And it's the strengthening bonds card. There could be people around you that you could strengthen your relationships with that would be able to help you to move forward, Eve. Just keep that in mind. Um, this can also represent like relationships or strengthening bonds that we have with spirit, as well as people who are with us in life. And so just keep that in mind. If you resonate with that more based on the graphic or the way the card has come out, I would understand, because I'm getting that kind of sense from this card. But I also feel like it is representing people in your life as well. There could be, even though you could strengthen the bonds of the loss that you described, you could also strengthen the bonds of the people who could help you through that, okay? Now, I really think that I'm correct about this nurture card because of the suits that have come out. You have this temperance card of balancing these emotions, and it's going to bring some sort of awakening. And then there's these harsh decisions that need to be made. And I really think it's about the actions that you take moving forward in terms of this loss. Um, what I see is a confidence. I see that, you know, not nurturing yourself in the direction that you need to go. I think that you are a strong person, and that's what that's saying, and that you're going to be able to make this balance. I'm wondering how I can extend just a little further. I'm feeling drawn to using my Sixth Sense deck. This deck often just delivers a message that needs to be heard. It usually comes out of the blue in a Sixth Sense kind of way, where it's all connected and meaningful. And so I'm just going to ask this deck for one card in terms of what you need to hear uh, for yourself. And the card that came out is the Spring card. It looks like this. I'll just show it for a moment. Now this is the 34th card. 34 in numerology breaks down to a 7, and so this is often about spiritual development, spiritual growth, and spring is like the new awakening, a new beginning. It's a time of renewal. It's a time of refreshment, growth, life. And so I think what this is really saying is that you may need to focus on the life as opposed to death. Focus on life. Focus on what's here now and what your life is now. So I just received your message there. I'm just going to read it for a sec. Oh, that's really interesting. Oh, it's jumping. I can't see more. I think that, I think that's a great idea. What you just described, really shows a lot of, you got to have a lot of strength to be able to do what you're describing there, um, Eve. And I think you have that strength. I see it in your reading that you don't need to nurture yourself. You're going to nurture others. And that makes sense to me, given that that nurture card is reversed. Um, those are the bonds you probably need to strengthen as you fight your fears in going back to study. Um, well, follow your intuition, what that spring card says to you, as you just mentioned in your message there, that it's fitting. Follow that intuitive sense. I do believe that, my sitters often sometimes receive messages from the cards simply because of the way that they came across to them. And I always encourage to follow that intuition, follow that intuitive sense. I do hope that this was helpful, Eve. I'm going to put the cards away and decharge them, and then I'll move on to Leela. Leela, if you're available and still on the call, let me know. And if you have a question or topic you'd like me to focus on, just let me know that too. Or if you'd like to just leave the reading general. Quite often when readings are left general, as we've seen tonight, it's the messages that needed to be heard that come up. Oh, thank you for that feedback, Eve. I really appreciate that. I'm humbled by your comment there. I'm glad it was helpful. You're very welcome. Thank you, Leela. I'm going to start with a 1-card impression pull from this deck. It's just going to let me know where you're sitting energetically in the moment. And then I'll move on to this deck. I feel like it's already ready. Then I'll move on to this deck where you'll have a topic or question to ask, or it can be left general. General? Perfect. I just saw your message there. I can do that. Now, the card that came up right away is the 4 of Wands, Leela. And the 4 of Wands often represents taking action to create structure within your home. The 4 in numerology is often about finding grounding and structure, and Wands, as we've said tonight, are about the actions that need to be taken. And so quite often when we take action in terms of finding grounding or structure, it's usually about creating a satisfying or happy home, creating that structure in your home or in your life. And that's what that card represents. Let me know if that makes sense to you, Leela. And I'm just going to focus on that general reading. Now, if anyone else is interested to receive a reading tonight and is on the call, I do have one more spot available after Leela. If you're interested, I could offer one more free reading to anyone. Otherwise, we will wrap up after this. So, interesting feeling that came from this reading as I was presenting the cards. You have 2 higher arcanas, one reversed, one not. They give very different messages, but I feel like they go hand in hand. And then there's the suit. The suit is the Ace of Swords reversed. It often represents not changing your mindset, as opposed to when it's this way, it's like coming up with this brand new idea. When it's reversed, the Ace of Swords, when the Ace of Swords is reversed, it often represents not changing your mindset. Either this new idea didn't materialize, or there was no need to go in that direction. So it's about holding your own, sticking to a specific thought or idea, or not changing what you're thinking. Now, the two cards that are side by side that I feel like are speaking together, are in a little bit of conflict, are the Wheel of Fortune right side up and the Devil card reversed. And I will talk about that. Now, a lot of times this card can bring up some anxiety. People think that it's about the Christian devil, or the Catholicism, or the Catholic devil, or that it's about evil, and it doesn't mean any of that. What this card often represents is some sort of adversary that you're up against. This can be an adversary of someone else or an adversary of yourself. And when it's reversed, it often means that you've defeated that adversary. If the card came out this way, you'd be up against that adversary. You'd be in the moment up against this adversary, whether it's a trait within you that needs to change, or a trait in someone else that's getting in the way. When it's reversed, it means that you've defeated that adversary. You've found a way to get past this. Now, the Wheel of Fortune is often about having fortune in your future, but needing to take the process, take the time to get there. And so this is going to take time. I think what this is often representing with these two cards side by side in the way that they've shown here is that you have this adversary that's been defeated, and now it's going to take time to get through that process. I think that brings me back to this card about the Ace of Swords reversed being that it could be that you didn't change your mindset that defeated this adversary. So holding your own, holding your ground, sticking to your ideas, not changing your mindset based on what you were up against, may have worked in your favor. Now, when I bring this back to where you are now, where you have this actions taken to bring a happy home, I think you really made the right choice here with whatever adversary has been defeated. Does this make sense for you, Leela? Can you resonate with these messages? I'm wondering how I can extend further. Given that this has brought structure and grounding, I'm wondering if it would be helpful to look at this from, I'm just trying to decide which deck is calling to me most. I feel drawn to my shaman deck. I'm going to pull one card from this deck just to get a sense of what this deck is trying to say. This deck is often about the messages from within, the reflection that's required for our growth and development. And it seems like you've been through quite a process already. And we have the hummingbird. Now, the hummingbird card is the 26th card in this oracle deck. 26 breaks down to an 8 in numerology, and it's often about finding success for ourselves. And when you think of a hummingbird and the way that it can glide, it can do something very special in a way that other birds can't do. They can literally hover. They make this almost silent, seamless flight. And they do it strategically. And that's what it's really about. It's about being independent and unique. And I'm getting this like sense of really busy, like a lot of work. It almost makes me feel like I'm tired already. I don't know if this is in your energy, where you're the type of person that's very active, has to keep things moving, has to keep things going. But there's something like that happening. So either you have that active energy, or you're involved in that active energy. Maybe you feel like you can't slow down as everything else is going fast around you. But the hummingbird is often about doing exactly what you need to do in the moment. It's about knowing yourself uniquely on what you need for yourself and how you can achieve that. So keep that in mind. This comes across as a very positive card, and what's standing out for me in the card itself is the full moon that's in the background. Now, hummingbirds do not fly at night. They fly during the day, unless they're doing their migration. And so, with the full moon in the background, I feel like this is really about where you're headed, where you're going. But also, I think you have an intuitive sense that you can trust and follow in this. Um, I think trusting your intuition will serve you well. Now, that being said, I'd like to extend further using my heart chakra deck. This seems like very let's say like a very personal journey that you've been on, and what's really being described here is that personal journey. And so I'd like to just reflect further on what you need for yourself, given that you're on this personal journey, and that the hummingbird is often about individual development and showing your skill, shining your talent or your light in some way, in the same way that they're skillful hummers, the way that they fly. So 3 cards have come out. They are all reversed. And so I really think that what this is suggesting, not necessarily that they're negative, but that you don't need this advice that I was offering you, that you seem to be following through with the advice no matter what. Or it's going to be really hard advice to follow. And I don't get that sense with the hummingbird on the table in this defeated adversary, okay? So the advice that you don't need messages about growth and success. I think you know where you're headed in this, and that's really interesting. Um, I think you're in the right direction, and so there aren't these. There isn't this sort of like push to succeed. I think you understand your success. Now, the 2 next cards I feel like are speaking together. They are both higher arcana, and I'm going to go through them one by one. This is the listen card reversed. Often, when the card comes out reversed, it's about listening to yourself and not the people around you. It's about following your own guidance instead of what you're being told to do. I think that that's really important to focus on, given um, the way that the cards have come out here, and the card that's beside it, which is the Seek card reversed. Now, Seek is often about finding inner peace, doing what you need to do for yourself to relieve yourself of stress, and quite often that can come across like yoga or meditation or finding a hobby or activity or connecting with nature. And what this is saying is that you've already been doing that. In some way or another, you found your form of relaxation or peace. You don't need to seek your inner self. You know your inner self. And that's why you need to listen to yourself more clearly. That's really interesting. I really like that connection that you made with the hummingbird, and that you're a musician that proficient humming through your instrument. Follow through with that. I mean, what does that say to you in terms of this skill or gift that the card is determining in its message? Um, I think that that's really profound. I think you can follow through. I think that that music probably would help you as part of this spiritual developmental journey that you're on. I do hope that these messages are helpful, Leela. Let me know if you resonate or understand where they're coming from. Um, when I look at this reading as a whole, generally there's a lot of higher arcana cards. You have 4 higher arcana cards, and again, 4 is about grounding and finding structure for yourself. So that makes sense given that the messages have come out, and you have the 4 of Wands in your energy now. Um, you have swords showing up on the table, and um, emotion. So I really feel like um, this is really just about how you feel and how you're thinking about this. And it's not so much about what you need for yourself or the actions that you need to take. I think you know exactly what you need. You understand the actions that you're taking. It's just about how you feel and how you're thinking about it. I do hope that this was helpful. Oh, thank you for that feedback. Absolutely. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. So thank you so much to everyone who came and received free readings, and thank you as well for everyone who watched my Tarot Talk live event. If you're watching this from my website, check out the other opportunities to receive free readings. There's even a section on requesting a free reading on my website if you're interested to get involved in that free draw that's coming up. Like I said, the next free draw is happening on Monday, which is August 19th, 2024. And so all you have to do is like, comment, or share any social media that mentions the draw, including this video. You want to get involved in the draw, let me know on the video. You're automatically included. I literally take all the names, cut them out, put them in a hat, and draw the names. And I choose 1 in 5 winners. So if I get 20 participants, I'm choosing 4 winners. If I get more than 20, I'm choosing 5 winners, and etc. And I always keep every 5 people that get involved, I choose 1 winner for every 5 people that participate. And that just keeps the draws flowing. It keeps the percentage of winners higher and allows for more opportunities for people to receive those free readings. So if you're interested in getting more involved, check out my website, staffordtarot.com, including those upcoming workshops. Like I said, the early bird sale for the introductory to mediumship workshop will expire after September 30th. And the workshop itself is taking place on Saturday, November 9th, 2024. Should start around 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You literally, all the information is available on my website, but for those who want to get involved, you need to register in order to get involved. So if you register first, then you'll receive the link. Those who don't register ahead of time will not receive the link to join. How you register, all that information is on my website, but you simply just let me know you want to get involved. Send me an e-transfer or online payment for your entry. Like I said, the early bird sale ends on September 30th. So you have until then to take advantage of the sale. Otherwise, I'm going to be accepting those new participants right up to the 8 p.m. Eastern time, the date of the event on Saturday, November 9th. So I hope to see you there. It's going to be a spectacular event. I've run it quite a few times in the past, in person and remotely, and received great feedback. And the participants seem to really enjoy the workshop. And it's very insightful, very informative on how you can do this mediumship practice for yourself. Thank you everyone for joining me tonight. I really appreciate seeing everyone that's come, and feel free to join me next Tarot Talk live event, which is going to take place on Tuesday, September 10th, 2024. That Tarot Talk topic is going to be on ambush readings. So what it's like to be ambushed. I have a personal policy that I avoid ambush readings. I will not ambush someone with a reading. And we're going to talk about that next month. So please join me on Tuesday, September 8th, or sorry, Tuesday, September 10th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time to join me on that Tarot Talk. I will also be offering 6 free short readings on that Tarot Talk as well. Take good care. I wish you all well, and I look forward to the next online event.